Shut up and sit down.
Needless to say, I had to throw those underwear.
We can't say twat more than 10 times.
Twat, 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 twat.
Go to hell.
And you get to be the dictator. You get to be a dictator. You get a dictator.
Yeah,
That
I know
fucking
you do. I know you
egg-sucking piece of shit.
No, or when you're interrupting, you bastard.
Wow.
We're gonna fight. We are gonna fight. I
It
mean,
was
if you
coming
think
to
shooting
theaters.
a cat is violence,
This is
and
my last podcast with CriticalMass. What do you think, Dan? Do we have a good time?
no. Welcome. No.
No.
You.
You.
Welcome back to season 6 premiere.
Season. I thought we were in season 17.
Oh, way to play along. No, welcome back to season 2 episode. Who gives a shit? And
Exactly. I don't care.
yeah. So let's just dive in.
We're gonna dive into vocab.
Rocness.
Yes, Daniel.
Please define balls deep.
Balls deep. Balls deep. I believe was an old, like a gym equipment company.
Okay.
That really was big in the Catholic schools.
I was outside of a playground recently, and I heard kids saying balls deep a lot. I just want to know what that meant.
I think they were trying to get, they were calling out to get a toy that's made by this company. Hey,
Okay.
give me the balls deep
Gotcha.
ball.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was a company, I believe, it was founded in 1873.
You know a lot about this company.
Yeah, well, I went to Catholic school,
Oh,
and it was a lot of priests were really into it.
Oh, Jesus.
And with playing with the kids.
All right.
So, balls deep.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, Dan, I have a vocab word.
Do you?
Yes, define smegma.
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 Well, I don't know if anyone knows what that means, but I do.
All right.
Smegma is like, it's like sort of like birth stuff that comes out of an animal just before the baby comes out. Most mammals have smegma that come out of them.
I believe you're correct.
Yeah.
I believe so.
I don't actually know what smegma means.
You
I'm
don't
not
know
gonna
what
lie.
smegma really means?
No, I don't.
I'll tell you when you're a little
Okay.
older. All right, so very good.
Welcome, everybody. This is Critical Mass. Today we have our friend Pete.
Pete. Hey, Pete.
Hello.
Oh,
Whoa, hello.
Hot mic.
Thanks for joining us today. How you doing?
I'm okay.
I guess that's better than bad.
Pete is in a rap group. Is it okay if I mention this?
I don't know. Before the show, you told me I might not want to be associated with you.
Right.
Well,
There's
So
a
I'm on the fence.
there's a song where I just die every time hearing it. They're in a hypothetical situation, he and his rap partner, and they're at a party, and he introduces himself, and all the girls say hello, and Pete just goes, hello. Like, the way he says it, I just laugh so hard every time. It's just so honest.
It's hard to convey awkwardness in one word.
Hello.
I know no one will be able to see this on the podcast, but I wanted to convey this kind of a wave.
Yeah. The loose wrist back and
The
forth.
wrist where you're just you're not certain you should be waving.
Right.
That kind.
so what's it like being at the forefront of rap right now, Pete?
I wouldn't know. I'm at the other end.
Well, we're going to talk
four-back.
about all kinds of stuff today. We're going to talk about stand-up comedy,
Yes.
and television in general.
That works for me.
Pete is an avid TV watcher, is he not?
and stand-up connoisseur.
Yeah, yeah.
I just really like when people are vertical.
And comedic. Pete and I used to sit in art class and discuss stand-up comics.
Yeah.
Yeah, some stand-up comics that he was like, dude, check out this stand-up. He's so funny, and no one really knows about him yet. His name is Mitch Hedberg. You remember that, Pete?
I do.
I love Mitch Hedberg.
I mean, I do remember that Mitch Hedberg existed. I don't
You don't
remember
remember
this
telling me about
random
him?
moment where I told you about his
Yeah,
existence.
yeah. It was the art room. It might have been like 8th grade. You were like, dude, he's funny.
I met him. Did
Really?
I ever tell you that?
You
No.
met Mitch Hedberg. Please talk about that for a second.
He was on tour with David Tell and Lewis Black,
Wow.
and they were signing autographs, and I got the other two guys, and then I'm walking up to Mitch, and there's this tablecloth at the table he was sitting at, and it was covered in little Sharpie lines all around him.
Huh.
And I walk up, and as I walk up, I go, did you do this? And he goes, yeah, man, arrows. And then he starts with a speed you don't think that a guy who talks like that could have. He starts making like a billion more little black marks that, by the way, do not look like arrows. They look like lines.
It's like little scratches.
And I didn't have, so like the other guys signed my ticket stub. They said you're not supposed to be in the line if you don't have merchandise, but I did not listen to them.
All right. You're a rebel.
But I mean, Lewis Black's fantastic. David Tell's fantastic, but Mitch was a whole nother level for me. And I just had this idea all of a sudden. I said, would you sign my shoe? And he goes, yeah. So I gave him
like him.
I gave him my shoe, and he signed it. And I held it up to my cheek and like nuzzled it and petted it, and I just went, I'll never wash this shoe again, because it's that kind of thing. People, you shake someone's hand, he's gonna wash his hand.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say he looks at me, but he kind of looks at nothing in the way that he does with his lidded eyes, and he goes, "Who washes shoes?" So I have my very own Mitch Hedberg joke.
Man.
Oh my God, Mitch! I don't know if you guys knew this. He passed away.
What?
Yeah.
Fucking dick. Don't spring that on me now.
I didn't know. Oh, you didn't know. I'm sorry.
I knew.
I follow him on the Well, I don't follow him, but I follow something called Mitch Hedberg quotes on the FB. So I get a daily Mitch Hedberg quote.
Right.
Because I love him.
Like the stuff about eating rice.
Yeah, it's great if you want to eat thousands
Yeah,
of something.
thousand of anything. That was spaghetti, wasn't it?
No, it was rice.
Rice.
That his escalators are never broken; they just become stairs.
Sorry for the convenience.
Exactly. So just some of the stuff he says, like I'll be having a bad day, and I'll just flip my phone open and see one of those, and I just laugh, and I just say, some of the best creatives in this world are just freaking just robbed of robbed of
Taken
life.
from us.
Exactly.
He had this joke about Doubletree. It's like, what should we name our hotel? Tree? No. Doubletree. Yeah. And then some other guy going like, oh, I was holding out for Quadruple Tree. We were almost there. But the thing is, they made T-shirts, and this was like right before he died. I think it said Quadruple Tree on them.
Oh, man.
I think my brother has
know
one
that.
or had
That's
one.
awesome. That is awesome. I mean, stand up for me has definitely been a humongous part of my life.
Who's the greatest stand-up in your opinion?
The greatest stand-up comedian ever to grace the stage would be George Carlin.
I don't think anyone's going to argue with that.
Thank you. See?
I think some people would say Pryor.
They're
Pryor's up there.
They're the twin pillars.
Thank
of
you.
it.
Twin
Thank
pillars.
you. So
I like
Pete and I
that
are on the same
analogy,
page.
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, very different. Carlin. I saw. Okay, this is another story.
Okay.
I saw George Carlin once.
I envy you.
And he, I remember that he wasn't all that great, but I found out since then that like when he was touring, he says himself when he's going through his stuff and he starts to go look at cards to see what he's doing. He says to the audience, I don't improvise, I memorize.
Yeah.
And so basically he's just trying to play it and see how it works and then fix it. Like, any comedian, but he's trying to do it as in, here are the words. And then
Right.
the words did not work. And, but he did this bit, which I think is in a special in some form or other, where he's talking about all the names are not as good now as they used to be.
Oh yeah, Todd.
Yeah, Todd.
Yeah.
But then he said, where are all the good names? Like, where's the Dick Johnson? And I went,
That's me.
and then he goes, or Peter O'Toole. And I went, I literally leapt halfway out of my seat.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I almost yelled at him. I mean, like, this close. I almost went, just flip him, put the one on.
That's great. That is great.
Where did you see him?
Auditorium theater.
Wow.
Which Lewis Black, who I think that was the same place that show I just mentioned with Mitch and everything was.
Yeah.
Lewis Black said, although I've seen him so many times, it might have been a different Lewis Black show. He said, the Auditorium Theater. You didn't even bother to name your theater.
Literally what it is. It's a theater that's an auditorium.
But he just marveled at it for a while.
Yeah.
Just stood up there going, Auditorium Theater.
But I mean, for me, George Carlin, obviously, my dad got me really into George Carlin.
Yeah.
From an age I should not have been watching George Carlin.
Sure.
But I mean, so many of the views I have now really stemmed from his stand-up. I mean, the guy, to me, he was more than a comedian. He was really a visionary in the things that he said about politics, religion. Everything he said made sense. Not only that, but goddamn, the guy had a mastery of the English language that I think that so many... he had his dick and fart jokes, but they were sprinkled in amongst the real serious stuff that he was talking about. I mean, like when he had his bit about homelessness, he said, we'll solve homelessness when the government finds money in homelessness.
Right.
The moment there's money to be made from homelessness, there won't be a homeless person ever again.
Right.
And the fact that it was so funny and so sadly true, you know what I mean? It just...
Some things I disagreed with him about, though.
Like what?
Yeah.
Well, he was talking about how everybody's
I'm
a
holding
pussy
a
now.
knife, so you better...
He's talking about the pussification of America.
Yeah,
And saying,
and?
okay, they used to call it shell shock,
Yeah.
and now it's post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, George, because they've learned more about it. They know what it is now. They know what triggers it. They know what causes it. It's just a better way of
he's saying
labeling it.
his point is that it itself is a harsh, traumatic thing.
Yeah.
And he's saying the name shell shock evokes that.
Yeah.
Where we took out the descriptive sounding thing that evokes the horror and put in this clinical term that does not.
Exactly. And going further on that, his book, When Will Jesus Bring the Pork Chops, he said exactly what you just said, and then he said, what are we going to call rape victims soon? Unwilling sperm recipients? He's like, I mean, really, it's a horrible thing, whether it's shell shock.
But when it was called, I think my point is that when it was called shell shock, they didn't understand it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, but it's not.
At least not to the point where they do now.
But he's not saying, and now they understand it. Or no, I mean, it's not that they understand it, so they change the name to better suit it. I mean, his point is just that it sounded bad for a bad thing.
Yeah.
And now it sounds innocuous.
I think
Fair
you're
enough.
both right.
Fair enough.
It's just that what Pete's saying is really the word. You're talking about the education behind
what
it.
George is saying.
Yeah, what George is saying. Yeah, but
Right.
to your point as to what George is saying.
Yeah. Fair enough.
What else, Dan?
Do you guys feel like Ronnie Dangerfield could be another pillar of stand-up?
He's been him and Lewis Black. Not that I'm a comedian exactly, though I've tried it. They're really my it's okay that you're not in your 20s,
Right.
Because
Right.
they both took a very circuitous route and didn't really get big until their late 30s or 40s in Rodney Dangerfield's case, and I think maybe later even for Lewis Black. So yeah, no, I mean I think so. I think he's pretty up there.
Yeah. I'm thinking, I'm hoping the same way for my comedy career, that by the time I'm 70 or 80, it's really going to take off.
Right. It could. I mean, Pete, you have done an open mic or two, have you not?
I have, I'll put this down in podcast carbonite.
Okay.
That
I like it.
I've always said I want to do a thing where I go up and I do my usual. I don't really have material and I'm probably gonna bomb and stuff.
Yeah.
But I put you, Dan, in
Yeah.
a chair on stage.
Yes.
And the combination of my discomfort, which will make you laugh like it's doing right now,
Right.
and your discomfort, which
Right.
will make you laugh even more.
Just some idiot on the stage.
You'll
laughing.
just like that guy from the Tom Green show that sat in the back and laughed.
Yeah.
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
you'll just be there, and no matter how bad I am, I'm no longer going to be the point.
Right.
And I think that would be very entertaining.
It would.
That's actually pretty fun. I've done open mic as well.
As a stand-up?
Yeah, in Buffalo when I was a sophomore in college.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Coffee house right on campus.
That crash and
You ever
burn
been-
or what?
The first I did it 3 times.
Wow.
The first 2 times, well, it was a walk up. It wasn't
Yeah.
like it wasn't planned.
Yeah, I know.
didn't, you
It's
know
an
what I
open
mean.
mic thing.
And you got 5 minutes, I think. Like it's
Okay.
like 4 or 5 minutes, so it wasn't
Tough
long.
still.
And what I would do is in my dorm, because I was trying to be a comedian. I wanted to be a comedian.
Right.
I would just literally get plastered. So I would go up my dorm and I would just knock these shots back, and I would literally get up there and just start talking on the microphone. First time I went up, I got some pretty good laughs.
Okay.
I was pretty happy.
Yeah.
I remember exactly what happened and why I stopped at 3. The second time, I think I got some more laughs, and the guy was like, "Hey, I really like you," but it
Yeah.
was literally just me talking, just saying irreverent, stupid things. The third time, I said something that crossed a line. I remember exactly what it was that I said, and I got booed pretty much right off the stage.
Right.
The problem was I didn't get the crowd. I didn't really measure.
You didn't grab them.
Well, no, I didn't. What I said offended more than half of the crowd.
What do you remember what you said?
Oh, I remember exactly what I said.
Please say it.
All right, everybody. So who's here from Rochester? Who's here from Rochester? And they
You
get
do
the,
like 3 claps. Yeah.
Well, I was in Buffalo, so there was a
Yeah.
pretty good group,
Sure.
in there. So I'm like, yeah, like everybody fucking hates Rochester, right? And everyone, clapping and laughing. And I go, some people sit there and they'll be like, it's Rainchester. It's always raining. Yeah, woo, yeah.
Yeah.
And some people say it's the snow because we're fucking like goddamn the tundra, when
Right.
it comes time to, yeah. I say, I'll tell you why people really hate Rochester. That bitch Susan B. Anthony. As soon as they got the right to vote, everything went to shit. And more women were in the audience than
course.
men. Now, their
Yeah.
boyfriends were clapping and
Right,
laughing
'cause they thought it was-
hysterically. All of their girlfriends, all of the women were just, boo. That's, hey, man. And then I get the, hey, man, that's not right. Blah, blah, blah. She was a pioneer. She was a hero. So, of course, me drunk, I'm like, well, fuck you. What do you know?
Yeah.
And then I just look over, and the guy who's, like, running the thing is just kind of like,
Yeah, no, you're done.
so I was like, all right, well, thanks, everyone, and go fuck yourselves. And I just turned around and I walked off, and the guy was like, hey, man, I don't think I can have you doing all that ever again. And
That's the point of stand-up,
the
though.
problem is, though,
Well,
is that the being booed off, like, really affected me.
Really?
Oh, yeah, I was, like, terrified to just go up and...
Well, maybe not say so terrible things.
Well, yeah, I know that I agree with you, but still the boos, and you're up there, you're alone. It's like you're naked.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
So, like, I'm a musician, but the first time, so it wasn't the first time I ever did stand up. The first time I ever did it, it was in a very small, cozy room, and I had notes in front of me, and I was basically just reading it. And
Okay.
that went really well. But, like, the first time I tried it as in, I'm just going to go up, and it's just a stage and whatever. And I got up there, and I had the mic, and I just went, whoa,
Yeah.
this is weird. And it was so... I just walked around the stage not having an instrument or a plan or anything, saying how weird it was for about half of my time.
See, I would think that's
This is
great.
really
Well,
weird.
they
would
laughed at it. They laughed at it, but it's because it was just this genuine moment of like, as a musician, as a rock musician anyway, I've never had stage fright.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been delighted to be up there because I know what I'm doing. But as a comedian, all of a sudden, I'm just like, where am I? And I have I've made people laugh as a musician, but
Yeah.
like as a comedian, if you're playing songs, it goes, all right, I made you laugh. Here's a song. And then the end of the song is, yay, no matter what. It's always good. So like all of a sudden, the unit of thing you need to do is so short.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It has to be good in that short period of time.
the amount of pulling back and forth between you and the audience, having to wrangle them in various ways and like take their temperature and stuff. It's so quick.
Yep.
So you didn't know the instrument of
comedy
or your own comedy as
Right.
well as you knew the instrument of the guitar.
Yeah, or just-
so
no,
it was
just
a much
stand-up in
different
general.
feeling. Yeah.
Definitely, and that makes sense. For me, when I was going up there, I wasn't afraid at all. I commanded it immediately.
Well, you were drunk.
Yeah.
Well, the two
Alcohol
things. That was number one. Number one was that I was drunk.
Yeah.
But number two, I was just getting laughs. everything I was saying was hitting. I was
Right.
hitting. At that time, I didn't know this thing called failure. I hadn't grasped it yet. I hadn't understood it yet. I was like, everything I'm going to say, these fucking people are going to laugh. And then that's reinforced the second time I go, right? I can't do any wrong. You know what I mean?
I'm perfect.
Then the third, exactly, I am God.
Right.
I'm like Dennis Reynolds and fucking, I am a God, golden God.
I am a golden god.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm saying then the third time I go up, and
Susan B. Anthony
getting
thing comes out.
the booze.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, I feel like I'm up there with no clothes on. Now I've understood the pull, that push and that pull, that temperature check that I never had to deal with before. And then instead of growing from that, I just recluse myself to my room
Because
and stayed there.
you could do a joke akin to that if you gave the audience assurance beforehand through some other bit of material that you don't
weren't
mean
actually
it.
a cockface.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Because if you just come out with it, people
19.
just go, "Well, that's you then," and I don't like that.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
if you display to them that you're screwing around, then they'll go, "He doesn't mean it. He's being a parody of a person like that."
Exactly, and that's an incredibly good point. And well, actually, it's correct. It just, I was 19, I was a kid, and I thought everybody hates me, and I need to leave.
David Cross comes out
You know.
stage in one of his specials. His first thing he says, "So, I don't hate children. I don't know where that came from."
Have you guys seen Rory Scoville's?
Yes, the Netflix one.
And he just walks on, and just goes anal.
Yeah.
Anal.
Yeah.
The first like
so
5
good.
minutes of the thing is just the one word, and
Yeah. He's like pushing the crowd. He's like testing them.
Can we talk about? There's a stand-up comedian that has disappointed me.
Oh.
Very much so. Kind of a new wave, more of a newer stand-up comedian, and it's just I've been disappointed to the point now where I'm no longer, I think, a fan. And I was a fan, and I just am not anymore.
Who?
And that would be Amy Schumer.
Oh, yeah, I'd have to agree slightly.
Have you seen her first two? I
don't
was
think I've seen
laughing
any
so
of her
hard.
specials.
Oh my god, her first two, dude, I was laughing so hard I nearly pissed myself. Her last two was like fucking pulling teeth. Like, okay, we get it. You're a woman that is comfortable with her vagina. Vagina. Like, it was, her entire bit was vagina, come on my face, vagina.
To be fair, every male comedian's entire bit is my dick, my dick, my dick.
I mean,
Maybe I'm just not aware of it. I don't.
George
don't know.
Carlin wasn't like that.
No, but you just we've all agreed he's
Chris D'Elia,
the
does he talk
greatest
about his cock?
person
Maybe.
ever to do the job.
That's fair enough.
And he had plenty of dick jokes.
He did. The Gulf War being a big prick waving contest, that was one of my favorite
I
ones.
kind of
But
feel like Schumer's decline, if we were going to call it a decline personally.
let's get into this.
Now I'm
Not-
just picturing Chuck Schumer
even though,
doing stand up.
even though technically her net worth is probably worth more as it day by day.
Well, her show, which
but
is hit or miss for me.
her comedy, I think I felt more disconnected from it as time has gone on. I think maybe because she's gotten swept up into this big sort of commercial wheel that keeps churning.
Yeah, I
Yes.
mean, I find like
know.
with music, right? Like
Sure.
people's early stuff, they're hungrier,
Right.
Yeah.
and then
yeah.
as time goes on, they're not so hungry.
I think at
That
this
makes
point
a
in
lot
her
of
career,
sense.
she's being forced to come up with stuff constantly between her show and then her stand-up show.
Oh yeah,
Correct.
You know what I mean? So she's just pulling shit out of thin air at this point.
It's her and her sister. Her
Her sister writes on her show.
Yeah.
Too.
But, like, have you guys seen? Did you see Dana Carvey's last one?
Yes.
Like, I was
have
really,
not.
I was really just kind of like, I mean, no offense to him, he's fantastic and whatever, but it just felt very like, I almost want to say whiny. Like he's kind of just I'm old.
Right.
I don't understand things anymore.
Yeah, I think his name carried that because I think what happened, and tell me if you agree, is that at the end of it, I said, I really like that. And then when I thought about it, it was like, I really like that because it was Dana Carvey.
Right.
And then
Because
I
of
thought
it,
about it
yeah.
again and said, if that wasn't Dana Carvey, that would have been really weird and
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah.
Wait a second, I just like Dana Carvey.
I mean-
didn't like the actual special.
You remember Critics' Choice and how like in the moment it was, and the whole like OJ bit, and
I don't remember Critics'
Yes,
Choice.
you
Why is
do,
that not-
Dan. We used to quote
Why
that
am I
thing.
having such a hard time remembering Critics' Choice?
We used to
the
quote
tumor.
it constantly.
is
It was
the
the
tumor.
it was that one that was on every 2 seconds on
Oh,
Comedy
you mean-
Central when we were younger.
that his special about chopping broccoli.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
the entire special about
Don't
chopping
you
broccoli.
spill a fucking drop. Do you remember that part? Where he's talking about how a bunch of an asshole his dad was, and he would carry a drink of water into the living room, but they had carpet or whatever.
in
And
Critics' Choice?
I think that was the same one.
I don't
And he
remember
was,
that.
his dad was a dick, and he was telling him, "Don't you spill a fucking drop." And so immediately he starts going like this.
I don't remember that at all.
Oh, maybe that was a different one.
I
yeah,
have
no.
no idea what the fuck anyone's talking
Critics'
about. right
Choice was still the same one where, yeah, Starbucks. I think I got a Starbucks, a Frappuccino.
Yeah.
Yeah, Starbucks is not great because kids are running around. That's the one.
He says he stayed in the White House, and all anybody wants to know is, "Did you do that? Did you do that?" And he's like, "I'm not gonna say, but my son's middle name is Abe."
Yeah.
Oh my god. Who else?
Daddy, does God have feet?
Oh yeah, I remember that part.
Uh,
It was such a good special, but I mean, just his ability to create these voices and characters.
isn't that special?
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know?
it felt more forced in the most recent thing.
most
It
recent
felt
thing,
more
yeah.
like, "You guys know, here I come."
How do you feel, Pete, about Bill Burr?
Yes.
I have mixed feelings. I mean, he's one of these guys where, like, I fully recognize his stand-up prowess.
Yeah.
Like, as an art form, he's killing it.
Right.
But then often the thing he's actually saying, I'm just kind of like, that's not really a thing I feel connected to, you know, like that's, I'm not exactly going to get behind any of this. It's not so much like with Jim Norton or somebody where I can't even listen to him because I'm just kind of like, who again, more power to him.
Right.
But I really don't, I can't.
You don't connect with him on that sort of level.
Like, but yeah, more utterly when it comes to Jim Norton. It's just like Bill Burr. Sometimes I'm like, you know, and then
Yeah.
sometimes I'm like,
okay, I hear you.
and I watched. Have you seen F is for Family?
Yes, I love
cartoon?
that show.
So like
I've
the
seen a
first
few
the first
episodes.
season I thought was pretty enjoyable. The second one they started showing like dicks and boobs and stuff, and I'm just like, I get it. You're on Netflix. It's like HBO just goes, let's throw in some dicks and boobs
Yeah.
because we can. But it felt cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean. Where you're just like, is this just shock value or is there
Yeah.
actual value to this?
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
mean,
why
it's
don't
the
you
internet.
fucking make
so-
something?
Yeah, well,
We're doing
that is, I'm sure, what he would say.
Yeah.
We're doing that right now, Dan. We're doing that right now.
We are.
So continuing on with stand-up comedians, let's talk about another juggernaut, Dave Chappelle.
Loved both of those specials. I
Oh, my
do feel
God.
like one was stronger than the
Yes.
other. I think the first one of
Much
the two, I
stronger.
felt like it was stronger. But still,
just
I
like
love to
that-
have him back, and it was great.
that
And-
Morgan Freeman narration
Oh,
for
my-
no reason.
Yeah, dude, and just going back to his original stuff, like he, I don't know how to put it. I mean, then with the advent of Chappelle's Show,
Right.
which I thought was one of the greatest. I think though the greatest joke in the new season, or not the new season, the two new stand-up specials, is when Dave Chappelle goes, "How do you think I feel? I gotta watch Key and Peele do my old show."
No,
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know about that. I don't know if that's even fair to say.
No, yeah, but I mean, the question is how serious is he?
Yeah,
Because I don't know.
yeah, I don't know either.
I
but-
don't know.
I
but I
feel like-
get
but
where he's
that was
coming
like,
from.
No, when I saw him say that, I could sense that he felt that way, at least in some part.
You may be
And I
right.
was like, okay,
You may be
in
right.
fairness, would Key and Peele have been able to get on the air if it weren't for Dave Chappelle? To an extent,
Another
no.
great question. I think
To an
you
extent,
asked
I
two
think that
great
they owe
questions.
him that for sure. But at the same time, I think Key and Peele, the way that they came up with their sketches and just their comedy in general, to me, there wasn't necessarily a parallel. I mean, yeah, they talked about race, but they're in a very specific situation where they were both came from white mothers.
Well, yeah,
they had their own personal background and inspiration for their own stuff. It's not like they were like, oh, hey, see what Dave Chappelle did? He talked about race all the time. Let's do that.
Well, that's why the one reason Dave Chappelle said he left, and I loved his Oprah special. If you've never seen that Oprah one,
I don't think I have.
you need to watch it. He's on Oprah, Dave Chappelle, and Oprah was like, they said that you fled to Africa for medical treatment, and he just like had this funny look in his face. He goes, Oprah, how many people leave the United States to Africa for medical treatment? He goes, I had family over there. I went to go see them, and he goes, and the reason I left was this: when your show is based on racial stereotypes as your comedy, is what makes it funny. He goes, that's not what bothered me. What bothered me is when I go into the writer's room and every single person in there was white. Going in there, seeing and hearing these jokes, and literally everyone in that room is white. And, he's like, there wasn't an Asian, there were no Mexicans, there wasn't a black man, there was nothing. It was just all white writers. He goes, and you get to a point where you're just like, this doesn't even feel genuine. This doesn't feel real.
So he had no control over that?
Apparently not. Apparently Comedy Central really did a number over him in terms of his contractual obligations and control that he had. He blames Comedy Central hard for a lot of the issues. That Oprah special was great, and then Oprah said, I'm going to surprise you. I know we didn't prep you for this, but we wanted to put you on the spot. And she played the Oprah sketch from Chappelle's show where he got her pregnant, and he's like, gotcha, bitch! And like he was laying on a bed of money getting a massage from an Asian woman, and he's like, Oprah, baby, can I get a happy ending? And then she just walks by, and he goes, she didn't say no, and he grabs the money that he's laying on and hands it to the woman. So they show that, and Oprah's like, Dave, where did this come from? And he looks right at her, and he goes, everyone has their dream girl, baby. And
he's crazy.
Everyone just started laughing. But
That's great.
It was a great special. Excellent. When Oprah still had a show. And I didn't watch Oprah, but I heard it was Dave Chappelle. But anyway, I guess the point I'm making is, could we consider him quite a major player, like almost like at the level of like a Chris Rock? You know what I mean? We have our pillars. Yeah. We have our George Carlin and Richard Pryor.
Those are the previous pillars.
Correct.
I think you have someone like Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle, who are among the more modern pillars.
I can agree with that.
Like kids now that like
not dead.
Age, correct. that look up like who they watched as kids. Yeah. They're like, oh, I want to be like them. I think those are the guys. You know what I mean?
That's fair, I think.
Do you guys think it's weird that right now there are people becoming legal adults who were never alive during a year that started with 19?
Yeah, it's weird.
That is terrifying.
That freaks me out.
That's fucking terrifying. That's fucking terrifying.
I wanted to say, totally unrelated to anything we've talked about this entire time.
Fair. Yeah.
When you were defining smegma.
Yeah.
There's a brand, like an appliance brand in Europe or something called Smeg.
Okay.
And so like you see like a refrigerator will just say Smeg on it, and I'm just like
That's something Rob used to call me. Rob used to call me Smegs.
Okay.
I'll tell you why later.
You could. I mean, this is an R-rated show. You could say it.
I know, but
it's super gross.
Like it's bad.
Okay.
I'm just gonna allow Rob, who listens to the show. Rob, I know you're listening right now.
He's our next guest.
He's probably laughing super hard right now because he used to just be like, "Hey, Smegs, what's going on, Smegs?" And then Lance would get in on it too.
Yeah.
And oh my God, go clean your smegma, stuff like that.
Right.
Which again, I'm gonna let him just enjoy that right now and not define it.
All right.
But with that being said, we're gonna take a break. When we come back, we're going to discuss TV.
Television.
What's on the tele? All right.
If you want.
All right, we'll be right back. The Critical Mass podcast can now be found at the 8o'clockstop.com. That's the 8o'clockstop.com. We're there along with our friends at the Hypothetically Speaking podcast, where they answer hypothetical questions. It's a lot of fun, and you'll also find a whole bunch of other fun multimedia there, from music to art to, well, all kinds of stuff. Check it out real soon. That's the 8o'clockstop.com. And we're back.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah,
everyone.
we're back all right.
Thanks for
sticking around.
Thank you for being you. Thank you for being a friend. Speaking of that,
Travel down the road and back again.
Speaking of the Golden Girls, we have Pete with us today.
Hello.
He is a golden girl.
He is golden.
That's what they used to call him in prison, anyways.
Oh, prison was a fun place to be for everyone, I think.
Okay, so we could talk forever about this particular topic. Pete, I want to ask you: are you a Rick and Morty fan? Because I've just watched season 1.
Yeah, we're
Danny,
on TV.
I'm a major fan of anything that Dan Harmon or Justin Roiland put together.
Precisely.
And Rick and Morty is certainly no exception.
Right.
Now I'm newly indoctrinated to the Rick and Morty.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't understand it. I didn't know what it was all about. For me, animation stopped at South Park. I'm a huge South Park fan.
Okay.
So someone at work said, "Hey, just give Rick and Morty a couple of episodes." One night, I swear to Christ, I watched every single episode. I couldn't stop. I was laughing
Really?
so hard.
Just
Oh,
a
yeah.
regular old Plumbus.
I was laughing, wubba lubba dub dub. I was laughing so
Yeah.
fucking hard, and so many fucking times. It was great. I love the show. Love the show.
Yep, it's great. And
Did you
Dan Harmon's
notice
great and Justin Roiland's great.
the animation team? What they're called?
Starburns Industries,
Yeah.
yes.
I just noticed that. I was like, what?
Yeah, because he did Community. And do you know who Starburns is?
No,
The guy who plays him?
no.
That's Dino Stamatopoulos.
Okay.
I first remember seeing his name in the credits for Mr. Show, but he's also just been like in a million other things you've seen and gone, that's one of my favorite things.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yep.
Good for him. It's so funny that because he plays this character on Community, it's a total loser.
Yeah, I IMDb him.
Have you seen Community?
I have.
Rocness.
I tried.
You couldn't get into it, huh?
Couldn't get into it.
Oh, I love.
Did you start at the beginning?
Yes.
All right, then I don't understand.
Okay.
Well, and people say that of me too with my confusion with Game of Thrones.
Oh, well, look, I'm willing to say that Game of Thrones might be very entertaining, but I just don't give a shit.
And it's another one of those
Peter?
shows for me where the fans ruin it.
I'm
fans,
into
yeah.
Game of Thrones. I mean, I was just thinking about this today. I came into it in a weird way because at first I was not paying any attention.
Right.
Generally, I like fantasy stuff, but it's so popular that I was just like,
Fuck
I'd
popularity.
I'd never seen it. I really knew literally nothing about it.
Okay.
I just had heard the name, and that's it, enough times to know it was something. So I was just like, well, I'll wait till no one cares anymore.
Yeah.
That's generally what I like to do.
Yeah.
But then at my job, they wanted me to do a bit of music that was Game of Thrones inspired. So I pull up the Game of Thrones theme song.
Mm-hmm.
Again, never having seen the show. And all of a sudden I'm like, all right, I got to watch whatever this is supposed to be describing musically.
Because you liked it so much.
It was awesome.
Okay.
That's fair. I mean, that's fair.
But, when's the last time you got into a show because you heard the theme song and,
I don't know
and
if
went,
I ever
I
have.
must watch whatever this is
Yeah.
supposed to be?
I can't say that's ever happened. For me, though, when it goes, and I know we've talked about this before, Dan.
Portlandia, maybe?
Oh, I love Portlandia.
When you hear that opening song, you're like, yeah, this is gonna be
Sometimes
good.
I'll hear it around like just the actual song playing, and I just immediately I'm like waiting for the show to start.
Right?
I really think though, going to Portlandia quick, is that Fred and Carrie are so underrated in the comedy world. I really think they're underrated. I think maybe
Yeah.
they're that way on purpose. Maybe they like being underground.
Sure.
Maybe they like being, because there's two
I
types
don't think
of people.
he's underground in the
Well,
comedy
no, with
world.
SNL, yeah, but I'm saying in terms, if we focus on Portlandia,
You're saying they're so good by now they should be super, super, ultra, mega stars.
correct. But there's two types of people. There's people that have seen Portlandia and get it and love it and think it's hysterical, and then there's people that are like, well, I watched like 2 episodes and it's just like really out there.
Yeah, no, I mean,
those people
they're
are
not
dumb.
Jimmy Fallon. They're doing a thing that appeals to the people who it will appeal to.
Right.
Jimmy Fallon for me is like that annoying friend that you're like, he's funny and I like him around, but at the same time,
So like
it's-
Fred. No, I'm just kidding. I love you, Fred. I'm just kidding. I don't know why I picked Jimmy Fallon and Fred together.
Oh, I don't know either. But I like him, but I don't.
Really?
Jimmy Fallon.
I loved him on SNL when he would just break and start laughing. He was
Sometimes.
great.
Sometimes.
I love it when people break.
So
did
I was
so much,
morbidly
though.
fascinated when he first got the
Tonight Show,
no the one before,
the late or the after night show, whatever it is.
whatever it is. When
The
he
almost morning
Conan's
show.
spot. When he got Conan's
late
spot.
late night. When he first had late night, I watched every episode of the whole first season of it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
And he was awkward. I remember
he was
watching
very
him in the
awkward.
beginning. He was so awkward.
And I remember there was the one thing I like distinctly remember laughing at was he said that his Native American name was Laughs at Own Jokes,
Oh my god, that's what I'm jokes.
which maybe racist,
I mean, a little bit.
but it was the fact that he was pointing out his thing that he does.
Oh, yeah, his issue.
And I don't know if this still continues to this day, and I don't know if it was awkwardness or just the actual excitement on the part of every single guest. But people would come in, the music's playing, and they'd walk on, they'd sit down. They weren't ever looking at Jimmy; they were always looking off to the side. And then they'd sit down. The music would die down, and just as it was dying down, they'd point and go, "The Roots." And then they'd turn to Jimmy like, "Oh yeah, you're here too."
Yeah.
But what he does really, really well, he does music stuff well, and he does impressions well. But
Sure.
specific, like
That's true.
those,
Yeah.
I mean, I could still like, if the only thing he did was musical impressions. When he does musical impressions, I could watch that forever.
Oh yeah.
Like when he does Neil Young or.
with the harmonica and shit. Dude, it's so funny.
Yeah.
Did you see the one where he had Bruce Springsteen onto it? It was him as Neil Young, and they did, whip my hair or whatever that song is
No.
called. They did that. And so the Neil Young version is whip my hair back and forth, and then Bruce Springsteen comes on dressed like really old Bruce Springsteen. I mean, from way back.
Okay.
And apparently, I heard later, I think from Jimmy talking on something or other, that Bruce did not want to dress up like that. He was just like, I don't know, man. And then they put him in it, and he showed him, and he goes, all right, yeah. So he was like, he was really not into it, and then they showed it to it. He was just like, yeah, okay, good. But he comes out, and they start doing the whole song together, and it's just this
Right.
really mournful version of that song.
That's so funny.
And Bruce's part is he's going like, whip your hair, and it's so good. You can tell he's like giggling on the inside the
Yeah.
whole time.
I do love that.
But so that whole
do
bit
love
is
that.
good. Or when he did the Doors doing the Reading Rainbow theme song.
Really? I gotta look this stuff up.
Oh, it's so good. And another thing, he explains doing Jim Morrison because it's great.
Yeah.
And he says the way he drew Jim Morrison is his pants are so tight, but he's so like drugged out. His pants are the only thing holding him up.
Oh my god.
So like his legs are always kind of there, or like this
Right.
awkward stance kind of pillar, and then like his whole torso on up is sort of just flopping in various directions.
That's fucking great.
It's so good.
So then, okay, it's hard for me, but I mean, do you have a favorite TV show of all time?
yes, I can tell you what it is.
What is it?
What I think is not only my favorite, but the greatest TV show of all time.
Oh, I'm ready to disagree. I don't even know what it is, but you're probably wrong.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, I appreciate the vote of
Yeah.
confidence immediately
Go
without
ahead.
even me even telling you what it is. Seinfeld.
Wow.
Yeah, no, you're wrong, but okay.
Okay.
I don't have anything against Seinfeld. I mean, I loved it at the time.
Okay, so you're
But
so I can slam you. Go ahead.
oh yeah, no, I would never make a statement like best TV show of all time.
Okay, so in your opinion,
What is your favorite?
It depends on how you mean it.
Eek the Cat.
Yeah, Eek the Cat.
Oh my god.
No,
Right?
that just took me
hey,
back.
Sharky!
That just took me back.
Fucking fat girlfriend, dude. Oh my god.
So
Annabelle!
Annabelle was terrible.
Oh
looking.
my
What did he
God.
have? Anyways, Peter, sorry.
Yeah, so like, a lot of my favorites is that kind of stuff that gets solidified as a kid,
Sure.
And in that case, it would be like Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Okay.
But if I was really gonna say like from a total creative like adult
Yes.
standpoint, is that the best show ever? Like, no, it's up there for me. But Deep Space Nine is objectively better.
Deep
But I
Space Nine.
like,
this guy.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
yeah. You want to go?
I'm just not a
We'll,
Star.
we'll
I'm-
fight.
No,
I'm
and
not a
that's
Star
fine.
Trek
But you can
guy.
see how I'm not dwelling on it, and we're moving on.
Right.
But I'm also just saying, like, even within the thing I like I know that the one I liked the most as a kid,
Sure.
not necessarily the best show. But like, I really like Gilmore Girls a lot.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Community also,
Yeah.
as mentioned, very, very good. But I don't like. I would never say any of these are like, there's no way you can't like it kind of a thing. Like, I can definitely tell you,
Okay.
there's
If-
ways not to like the Gilmore Girls.
If someone
I can think of
said
many right now.
Yeah. How much of it have you
You're
actually
gonna be
watched,
sick.
though?
Like a couple episodes.
someone
Yeah.
said, "Look, you're going to be sick on the couch for the
Oh,
next
this is
week.
a good question. I
For the
like
next
this.
week, you're going to be sick on the couch,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't have any streaming devices, but we can get you a DVD collection of any TV show, but you can only watch this one. What would
He
it
has
be?"
the best questions.
I would get something I've never watched that was on the air for a while. I don't want to watch new stuff. I don't,
Ooh.
or new to me. I don't. Like, I've watched Gilmore Girls so many times. There's nothing left.
I see.
can't
I
go
like
back.
that answer. That's actually the perfect. I like that because you want to experience. If you're going to be out and down and out that long, you want
Yeah.
to experience something new.
Put something new in my brain. I mean, like, lately, lots of stuff's come out. Like, here's the whole first season of whatever it is. I'll just sit down and enjoy the entire thing, and then have feelings about it. And that's why I like TV. I mean,
Makes sense to me though.
I just really enjoy, here's someone's artistic endeavor. All right, what do I think? Like,
Let me ask you this, Peter.
uh-huh.
What is my favorite TV show?
Ooh,
The Dallas Cowboys,
No.
Green Day,
the greatest
Rage
reality-
Against the Machine,
the greatest
No.
reality show ever, the NFL.
soccer.
No. Of scripted television shows.
Survivor.
Really? Oh, he's scratching his head.
This is hard. Surely I have some. You wouldn't say this if I didn't have
Try
some
not to give it away.
bead on it.
Think about it. The truth is out there.
Okay,
Really?
Did that not help?
that's your
Oh.
favorite show of all time.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you go into that for a few minutes? Because honestly, I took you for a Seinfeld guy as well.
Oh, I love Seinfeld. There's
I know
no
you
doubt
do.
about it. But I guess for me, in that kid thing that we were talking about earlier, is in the basement, fucking preteen and teenager in the dark in your basement watching X-Files, getting creeped out, having to turn the TV off at the very back of the bar and walk all the way through your basement in the darkness after you watch an episode. It just brings back memories. And I used to, what got me into it was Sliders. Because Sliders I liked, and then I would watch Sliders.
Don't go
and
back and
right
watch it
into-
again.
Oh, I know I did, and it's
Oh.
awful.
Sliders, yeah.
Like, everything you
Awful.
thought was good about it was like you projecting what should be good about it onto it.
Yes, because I did it recently, and
Yeah.
it just does not hold up.
Yeah, because like I remembered, like, I loved the professor character. I always liked the guy. Like, I like Stargate a lot. Stargate the show was really good. I heard they're making another Stargate movie.
Really?
Yeah. But it's Stargate. There's the smart
watch
guy
it.
in that, and I liked that smart guy too. But I remembered the professor as being like interesting and stuff, and I think probably a part of the reason that John Rhys Davies was so uncomfortable with the show, they like kicked him out of it after like season 2.
Oh, yeah.
I think,
Really?
I'm it's conjecture here. I know that something happened and whatever, but
John Rhys Davies, Indiana Jones.
yeah.
Okay.
He
Just making sure.
was
Just making sure.
but he was just this exposition machine. It was just like, here we are. I know things, It was so not
was bad.
good.
Yeah.
And plus, like, oh man, I mean, Wade was no one.
Which one was Wade?
So this was among Stargate 2. There's a lot of shows that had these 4 characters.
Oh yeah.
The strong white guy,
Oh, yeah.
the smart white guy,
Yeah.
the black guy, and the woman.
Yeah, yep.
And that would be if there were 4 characters, those were your 4
That was
characters.
like the 90s sci-fi trope.
It really was.
Honestly.
So Wade was the woman. And
okay.
and if I'm remembering
That's
right,
right.
although this is give or take basically like okay, so Remy was the black guy,
Okay.
and I remember I haven't rewatched it since I rewatched it that one time, but like he was the I don't know, like every show needs a doubting person, like
Right.
Scully was that, just like
Yes.
Mulder, even though we've seen a lot of crazy things, this time I still don't believe you.
Mulder, there's an alien right in front of me right now, but that could be something else.
That's something else.
It's a
Aliens aren't a
hologram.
thing. We met them. Yeah, well, like,
You were impregnated by one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Spoiler. But
Yeah, from 1994.
yeah. But yeah, so he would just be like whining a lot of the time, which
Yeah.
got real old real quick. But
Yeah.
like Wade, I don't even remember anything. Like she didn't contribute anything, and then
Yeah.
like she'd get captured or something. Like it was. I remember the '90s being more progressive than that.
Yeah.
And it was not.
The ideal of the 90s was that, yeah, but it's not what we actually
the
wanted
dream
to see.
of the '90s.
It's the 90s,
It's
you know.
alive in Portland. Anyways,
Oh my god. No,
If we don't do the melody right, we don't have to pay anyone for the rights.
it's true.
Can we, speaking of shows that hold up or don't hold up, which I think, excellent point with Sliders.
Does not.
Seinfeld looks a little weird now sometimes too.
Oh my god, especially the first season, maybe the second one.
No, but I mean, like where they're just kind of going, these kinds of people are weird, and you're just going like, should you be saying that?
Yeah.
Like they're
You mean in the
very,
context
very
of-
like everyone but us is a big weirdo, and
Right.
like,
Yeah,
I'm
but I
kind of
think-
like, yeah, you.
But that's the joke because
That-
they're
not
the
to their
narcissists.
characters,
They're the
exactly.
no,
self-centered
yeah, I know, but
people.
it's still
their
it's odd,
characters were terrible people.
right?
You know.
To me, that's what reminded me of It's Always Sunny. Was those characters?
Yeah, and I definitely want to talk about
Because of
Sunny.
the
but
implication.
Before
Do
we
you
get
like
into
Sunny?
Sunny,
I have mixed feelings. It's one of those shows where if I watch
get
it like
into Sunny
one
right
at
now.
a time with a big gap in between, I can deal.
Okay.
But
Really?
if I sit down and try and watch the whole thing, I'm just like, I get that pit of my stomach awful feeling.
Really?
Because they are terrible.
Oh, right.
I
yeah.
can't imbibe that much terribleness.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
but I mean, like, there's no denying the
Well, it
show's
makes me feel better
genius,
about myself.
But it's also just like, I don't have the stomach to
It's
watch
too-
more
I
than like
hear
one
you,
at a
though.
time.
Yeah.
But like, there's just so many things in it. Like every time Frank takes his gun out, there's like a gun clicky noise, even though there's no good reason for
Right.
it, you know.
Yeah.
And then everybody immediately, like, they all know it's happening. Go whoa!
Yeah.
Every time, it like you don't ever see it coming. You know, he'll
Right.
just
Yeah.
be like blah blah blah. My gun! Whoa!
What
so
I
good.
love about that show too is I don't know if you knew this, but the entire first season of the show, Rob McElhenney, who is one of the creators of the show
Yes.
with Glenn Howerton,
Yes.
Dennis, Rob was waiting tables. Like they would shoot an episode.
Yeah,
then
yeah.
go wait
And they had
tables.
to do it at like a specific time of day
Exactly.
when the place was. Yeah.
And not only that, but they were going to cancel them, and they said you need to bring a
Yeah, the
ringer
ratings
in.
were bad. Yeah.
Yeah, you need to bring a
Oh,
ringer.
and then, yeah,
in.
hence the Danny DeVito.
And hence
Right.
Danny DeVito joining the cast. Apparently, Danny DeVito's kids had seen the first season and were actually fans.
Yeah, I heard that.
So
too.
he went to. They needed someone, and he went to the show, and they kept him on.
Yeah. The first full season that he was on,
The season 2.
or was it the next one? He had something else going on that year, so they had to shoot for the entire season all his scenes within like a 2-week span or something
Jesus
like that.
Christ!
Like
I didn't know that.
completely out of order.
You know, he almost died on the show.
No.
Did you see the cruise ship episode where
Yes.
the gang goes to hell?
Yeah.
At the
Wait.
end of the second, the gang they go on this
It's
Christian
like a Poseidon
cruise.
adventure episode.
Pretty
No,
much.
I didn't see that one.
Well, at the end of it, they were all gonna drown to death.
Yeah.
The water was like coming up, and Danny DeVito literally almost fucking drowned, like in real life.
Oh my god.
And they had to like pull him out, and like he almost died shooting that scene.
I think they were talking about a podcast that he was like, they're saying how like all they do is purposely try and embarrass him.
Yeah, I heard
And
that.
he was like, he referenced the episode where he's on the playground inside of the spiral thingy in his underwear.
Yeah, I remember that one. The triangle, the what is it? The pyramid scheme episode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like he had to do this thing where he had to like keep pulling his underwear up for him and shit. It was like,
The gang
like
has a
looking-
timeshare. The gang
yeah,
has a
he's
timeshare.
literally
That's the
like, what
episode.
am I doing here? What is
Yeah.
going on? But
I
that's
love it.
Maybe my favorite thing from that whole series
yeah.
when Dennis is running for something. I can't remember what.
Some comptroller.
Right,
They didn't even know
and
what they
and
did.
Charlie writes his speech for him.
Yes.
And
I can't read
he's
this,
trying
Charlie.
to
Charlie
he's
can't
trying
read
to
this.
explain to him why it's so bad. So he's reading it out, and I mean, there's a million great parts to that thing, like where I can't remember what the rest of the sentence is, but he says like "good" at one point as like this extra word, and then and he pronounces it like that, and then the end of it being like he, whatever it is like that he's right thing to do, America. So do.
So do.
But my favorite part
Money me now.
is he says, "Thank you, thank you," in the middle of the thing, and as he does it, Charlie mouths along like,
yes, yes, yes.
"This is the correct."
Like it's all good. I'm like,
What's great is that carries on like the speech he wrote for his mother when she had cancer or fake cancer, and he's I need money me now, give money.
Give money. Any sort of illiteracy, obviously, is so funny, but
That's a pull quote
but
for the press.
when he draws things for
yeah.
people, like whatever that Luau episode was, where he tried
Yeah.
to make a party for them.
Yeah.
I guess that one of the things they were going through, they're looking at his notes or whatever. They're supposed to be like clues.
Denim chicken.
One of them was a bird with teeth.
Yeah, yeah.
I like
Now-
his geniuses.
Did you find
like he's a bird law,
bird law
genius.
advocate,
he's well versed in bird law.
It's just utterly unapplicable.
Right.
Inapplicable?
Cats do not abide by the laws of nature. Everyone knows this. You cannot own a hummingbird. No, you're not. You
He's
gotta
so
understand.
good at like certain like making fucking grilled Charlies and shit
No,
like
we're
that.
we're both men of the law. Oh, really? What law school did you go to? Because I graduated from Harvard. Filibuster? Do you even know what that means? He just starts kicking the door, screaming.
Yeah. That episode was great too, the law one where he challenges him to a duel.
Yeah.
And then he actually accepts. You know what? Okay, let me pencil that down
Yeah.
for Friday at noon.
Now, where are you gonna be? You know what? I'll find you. Okay.
I interrupted you when I brought up Seinfeld again. Rock, you were going to say something.
Yeah, why is Seinfeld, in your opinion, the greatest show ever?
What was I gonna say? Why?
Yeah.
First of all, I think it's one of the most quotable. I think.
Wow.
Rude.
Ringtone.
Who is?
I'm sorry. That's my wife, and she knows better.
She should know better.
Anyways, continue.
It's probably an emergency.
Oh.
I think it's one of the most quotable shows.
Anyway, moving on.
We're moving on.
Yeah,
Do you
go
wanna,
ahead.
Do you want to take a commercial break?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
It's one of the most
No,
quotable
just like
shows.
it's probably an emergency.
I think we've
Anyway.
all quoted it.
It's incredibly quotable. It is, I think, a staple of pop culture. Almost like Star Wars, but in terms of like a pop culture impact. You know, we've got your yada yada yada. We've got your the soup Nazi, no soup for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these have become such pop culture things.
Mm-hmm.
And furthermore, I think what lends to its genius is Jerry Seinfeld made money being Jerry Seinfeld. Created a show around being Jerry Seinfeld. He created himself into a brand that I think is fucking. I think there's comedy in that in itself. Is that he was who? I mean, did you see the hug thing with Kesha?
What?
Did anyone see that?
No.
Okay, do we know who Kesha is?
I
First
know
of all,
who she is.
Yeah.
It's a huge waste of life.
Yeah.
He was.
But what do you think?
He was on the red carpet at some awards thing. Jerry Seinfeld. This was like a month
Okay.
ago, not even.
Yeah.
And he's talking to a reporter, and Kesha runs up to him and goes, "Oh my God, can I have a hug?" No, thanks.
He said no thanks.
No, but seriously, I'm a huge fan. Can I please have a hug? No, thank you. No, thank you. Can I just take a picture with you? No, thank you. No, thanks. And he's like backing away from her.
Wow.
And she's like, oh my God, I'm so sad. He's like, yep, okay. And she runs away. And the reporter goes, do you know who that was? No. And he goes, that was Kesha. Oh, well, good luck to her and her life, I guess. Anyway, moving on, and just went right back to the interview.
Wow.
And I was like, that is the show. The whole...
I guess. That's his...
You know what I mean? That's just him. That's the way he was in the... You know that's how what he would have reacted in the show as well. Yeah. Remember the episode where they're kissing? Everyone in the building... Kramer put up the photos, everyone in the building, and Jerry was like, I don't need to say hi to everyone.
Yeah, he doesn't want to know everybody.
Exactly. Yeah. And to me, that's what it harked back to. Yeah. And I was listening to a radio show, The Gentleman's Club on 94.1, and they're like, that is an episode of Seinfeld. That exchange between, like, that, they could have gotten cameras out. Yeah. And that could have been an entire episode. Well, what do you mean you know George at the apartment? Right. What do you mean you know who Kesha was?
Because clearly when he and what's-his-face there were writing the episodes...
Larry David. It's clearly based on the two of them and their lives.
Correct. George is Larry
David. So, yeah, I mean, plus, no one really liked Seinfeld then. No, I'm just kidding. Everybody loved it then. I love it now.
I was way too young to love it.
Streaming, right, on Hulu. Certain platforms.
Yeah, I watch one episode a day at least.
So even if it's not, I mean, there's you can find reruns on basically any channel.
No, that's what's happening.
So, would you forgive Kramer? What's his name? What's his name? Fuck.
Michael Richards.
Michael Richards for his little scuff up there.
So, I've been asked this
This
before.
just got heavy. We went from wasn't that a funny quote?
I've been asked this before.
Because I loved his character.
And I'm going to answer the question, and then if we can take a break, because I got to pee like you wouldn't believe.
Piss like a motherfucker?
Yeah.
I'd believe.
So, do I forgive him? Yes, and there's a reason, because he wasn't a good stand-up comedian. He was getting heckled.
Yeah.
He was desperate, and he made a very bad decision.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine a situation in which I would have made that decision. Under any duress.
Hence me saying he made a very bad decision.
Well, but I'm saying
I wouldn't have
that's
made that
not
decision either.
But that had to be in him already, and that's what's.
You're right. I have to agree,
about
Peter.
It. Maybe
because there's nothing anyone of any color could do where that would be a thing, I would say.
I'm not saying it was right. I'm saying it was terrible. But now, after all these years, and hearing his comedians in cars getting coffee, his explanation with Jerry, I believe him. And if you look at his life now and how sad it kind of is, I really kind of just, I'm like, all right, man, you know what? I think you did your time.
Yeah.
I think you did. I think you did your time.
I think he paid his price.
What you did was awful. I wouldn't have done it. I forgive you. Let's move on. You've paid for this. You've paid your dues.
I just don't feel like as a white person, I'm in a position to forgive him. It's nothing to do with me.
That's true. I was going to say that too.
You know what? You're both absolutely right about that. I'm in no position to forgive him personally.
But if he were playing here, would you get tickets?
Yeah, because it's Michael Richards. That's the only reason.
I couldn't afford them.
All right, let's take a break and pee on each other.
I'm going to pee. Yeah, that's a great idea. Pee on each other. Everyone, if you're out there, you also pee on each other, and we'll be right back.
All right.
Winters suck, especially here in upstate New York. They're cold, wet, dreary, and the salt from the roads gets everywhere. Luckily, for our concrete surfaces, we have Eagle Epoxy. They'll come in, they'll resurface your garage, or your basement floor even. They cover it with an epoxy resin after it's been resurfaced, for protection, a clean look, and it's really, really easy to clean, especially for you car guys. They can be reached at their website, eagleepoxy.us, or by phone at 585-402-4971 for a free quote. Tell them the Rocness Monster sent you.
And we're back, and so are you. So just deal with it.
Are we back?
This is Critical Mass.
Are we recording?
We are recording live.
Are you sure?
We're recording live in a museum here in Spokane, Washington. And we're doing a tour across the country.
Yeah, they're actually going to be putting Dan's underwear on display here.
That's right.
Because it has its own ecosystem.
That's right. It's my biggest fear. So, what were we just talking? We're talking about television.
Television.
TV shows and kind of our favorites.
For those of you who don't know, television was something that existed in the 20th century.
That's right.
Did I ever tell you that this one time I was talking to this guy at work, and I said, guy with got a solid decade younger than me, and
He's a kid.
yeah, and I was saying, I think I was talking about At Midnight, which is a show about the internet,
Right.
and heavily uses Twitter.
Right.
And I'm talking about that show.
Mm-hmm.
And he says to me, so what is that, like a web series or something?
Oh, wow.
Because I had only used the word show.
Right.
And it weirded me out so much that someone would default to a web series when you say show.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the first thought is not
That's a
television
problem.
at all.
So is
Yeah.
that on the internet? What website is that
What
on?
is that?
It's
Is
on
that, is
fucking
that streaming?
Yeah, CBS.
Yeah, and
maybe?
not even can I get it on the internet,
Yeah.
which is, of course, like, where is it on the internet? But, like, is that just a thing someone made for just the internet? Like,
Yeah.
Oy.
that's never the thing I think of. That's always the thing someone has to go, no,
Yeah.
it's a web series.
Yeah.
It's weird.
So, TV, just to kind of round off, I think.
Yeah.
Kind of close this.
Yeah.
Why is it important? Is it important? Is it not important?
It's important to me.
It's important to some and not important to others. I mean, for me,
What do you mean, TV?
television shows.
TV shows.
Yes.
Okay.
So, for me, it is important.
It's another escape.
Growing up, yeah, it's another escape. It was a chance for me to almost make friends with people that I would see once a week, and they became.
This is getting sad.
They
Yeah,
became that.
there's a Genesis song about this called "Turn It On Again,"
Oh.
Ooh.
where he's just saying like, the people on the TV, I
mean,
love them so.
I have
Wow.
friends in real life, obviously, and I had friends in real
Obviously?
life back then. Funny.
I don't know. Is it obvious?
It is obvious.
Your foreskin's more obvious.
I don't know what that
Yeah,
even
put that
means.
away, please.
It just
You've peed. Now we're back.
you guys
Yeah.
want to see it?
Yeah. Oh God.
No, but in all seriousness, I mean,
It's more like a 5-skin.
That was good.
Here's a question for the listening audience. What does that mean?
Yes.
Nobody knows. It's been lost in
Write us.
translation.
Let us know. We didn't do emails, but I think I still have emails. I forgot
right.
about that. We'll
Well-
do emails. We'll do emails. Go ahead.
Okay.
Round out the TV.
No,
for
I
us.
just
TV.
that's really all I had to say.
Is it
was-
important?
I mean, yeah. I mean, Pete being our guest,
Makes us feel
Uh-huh.
special.
can you just what do you think?
I love television. It's the best thing of all the things. I don't like occasionally I end up watching a show where they take the movie tact, which is part of why I don't really like movies all that much, of visuals over talking.
Visuals over content.
Well, no, they think the visual is the content because there's it's a visual medium. Basically, people who take
yeah.
television as a primarily visual medium, I'm just kind of like, because so if one of my favorite shows is Gilmore Girls, or something like The West Wing or any other Aaron Sorkin thing, I like stuff that's just talking from end to end, where if you weren't looking at the TV, you'd pretty much get the same experience.
That's fair.
And I just like the visuals to round that out. That's me. But sometimes there'll be a show where they're trying to be movie-like and show you the look at the framing and all that stuff, or like Mad Men. So Mad Men was a very well done show,
Yeah.
and people were really into it because of that. But personally, I was just like, so there's like one or two plot points. And then the show's just stretching this thing over all these seasons.
Yeah.
And
The only thing I got out of it was, okay, the company is literally folding, and then everybody's cheating on one another. That's the only thing I got out of it.
well, the thing that Matthew Weiner, the creator, has said that just perplexes me. And if he were here, I would like to get more information. On
we
his
could call him
viewpoint,
up. Do you have?
Okay, yeah.
He's here, actually.
Whoa.
It's like a bad episode of Maury. Well, he's here.
or like a great episode of Maury because a guy who is like important.
What if you turned out to be the father?
Oh my God.
That would be interesting.
Anyways.
He has said that the thing about the show that he's trying to like say or whatever is people don't change. Now, from my perspective, all narrative is about people changing.
Or something changing, but yes, specifically, yeah,
Well,
people changing.
Generally, yeah, people changing.
Because there's a protagonist and an antagonist, and then there's
So the idea that this whole show, like, there are so many episodes. I don't know how much you guys have watched. Like, I don't even like that. This gets to my point of just I think TV is so important that I watch entire shows that I don't even really like, just so that I have that piece of the like puzzle in my head. I don't know what the puzzle is, but so there were a lot of episodes where stuff would happen, and then I'd be like, all right, maybe this is going somewhere. Next episode, it's like it never happened.
Yeah.
And I was just, what? Why? Why are you putting that in there then? Where is this all headed? And the answer is nowhere, because it really doesn't matter, because no one's changing. If no one's changing, why am I watching the show?
Right.
I mean, it's sort of like, when a sitcom's on too long, because at first the characters are fun, and you're having fun with it, and whatever, and then they don't change, and it's season 7, and you're just kind of going, okay, I mean, you still haven't done anything with your life?
Character development or lack thereof at this juncture.
Well, there's also, not in the case of Mad Men maybe, but like networks going like, don't change a thing.
Yeah.
It's a cash cow. Don't touch it.
Yeah.
So, but Seinfeld, do you feel like the characters changed much in that?
No, that was the entire end of the series was them not changing.
I think it was the development of everyone around them and the fact that they weren't developing. I think it was...
They were stuck in their ways.
They were so stuck there, but the rest of the world around them was moving, was moving up, and they still had changes in their lives, but as the people that they were, they wouldn't change. I mean, look at George getting married. You would think that would have been a change, but no, getting engaged, but no. He was still same old George all the way up until, spoiler alert, when she dies. Right. And the first thing on his mind is he got out of getting married.
Right.
But that's a comedy and it's a sitcom to boot. So like, yeah, you're not really supposed to change. Like the whole thing of it is you're the joke of a human being. And,
Right. I guess so. That's true.
So it's kind of okay that happened. Although by the end of Seinfeld, like those last couple of years, they were so high on their own supply. It was just sort of like, hey, hi, we're Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Look at our wacky fun times, and
I could see that. I could definitely see that.
But in the end, I mean, the characters didn't have to change. That's the thing of a show like that.
Yeah.
But in a drama like Mad Men, it's a little weirder.
Yeah. Good point. Yeah, they should definitely.
Well, the one thing though that there was something I wanted to touch on regarding.
I don't want you to touch on anything.
That we didn't get.
I told you to put it away.
Really get a chance to get to was animation. I know we talked about Rick and Morty.
And Family Guy's great.
Family Guy stopped being funny to me.
Okay. I have mixed feelings.
Yeah.
And South Park, obviously.
South Park is.
Where's some other juggernaut animation shows? Simpsons.
The Simpsons, yeah, which lost kind of a luster. Also lost a luster to me, which makes me sad.
It's sad now.
Yeah. Well, what I wanted to get to was like those old shows. Them still do they still stand up? Do they still, you know what I mean? Or do they still have that impact?
Well, we know Sliders doesn't.
Yes.
But
you talking about animations?
Yeah, I ventured back to Batman the Animated Series.
Oh, I know you love
this.
I
remember that being pretty good. I haven't rewatched it though.
Let me tell you something. It stays.
It holds? Really?
Oh, it holds. I was watching it recently going, I don't know why I was allowed to watch this.
Yeah, but you're biased because you're already a big Batman nerd.
Yeah, but there's Batman things that are terrible, like Batman and Robin.
Yes.
That was a
Batman Forever.
Batman Forever wasn't as bad. I like Jim Carrey's The Riddler.
Yeah.
I've heard people say that Mark Hamill's Joker is kind of like the one to beat in a certain way.
Correct. He is the it would be Mark Hamill, and then
Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger. Yeah,
Heath Ledger's Joker is like not the Joker; it's Heath Ledger's Joker.
But it's
But Mark
beautiful.
Mark Hamill's Joker was like the Joker.
The Joker.
The way we all think of the Joker being.
Correct. He was even in the Arkham series, the video game series. Mark Hamill took the reins as the Joker for that. And I mean, the jokes that he had, don't get mad at me for paralyzing Batgirl. I was aiming for her head. Like jokes like that are just like...
Oh, that's rude.
It's very rude. But that show is fantastic, and I don't think I should have been allowed to watch it.
To
as a
me,
kid.
the animated Batman series was like the after-school show for a while for me.
Yes,
like I
same
came
here.
home, got a snack, and watched that fucking show.
Yeah.
And I remember starting to get annoyed because I watched so much of it. It almost became formulaic, where it was like the bad guy captures Batman in some way and spends way too much time talking to Batman while he's being held down.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, something bad's going to happen here. He's going to get out of it. Just kill him. You have the opportunity. Kill him now. Oh, you didn't do it. Look at that.
True.
I mean, I wasn't rooting for Batman to die, but Jesus Christ. I mean, can something different happen?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, superhero genre.
I know,
thing.
but even at that age, I was like, all right.
Well, there was what was it? What was that movie? Oh, The Killing Joke. Mm-hmm. Have you seen The Killing Joke?
I don't think so.
Never heard of it.
It's the rated R Batman animated show, animated movie. It's done for the book, The Killing Joke. The Killing Joke was the book that Heath Ledger read in his hotel room where he stayed for like months to practice to be the Joker.
Oh.
And they turned that into an animated movie, rated R. It's fucking great.
Oh.
It's very, very...
Dark.
It's dark.
It's very dark.
Wow.
It's very dark.
Speaking of animation and people dying young for weird things that probably could have been avoided or whatever, Brittany Murphy, King of the Hill.
Yep.
King of the Hill.
I love King of the Hill.
King of the Hill bowed out, I'm guessing, just at the right time. They
Yeah.
did 13 seasons,
Wow.
but it doesn't feel like it. I mean,
Yeah.
really.
That's a lot.
But I remember the last season or two, I don't know, technology was changing. Hank was using a computer at one point, and I'm just going rewatching it, mind you.
Right.
Going okay, it's probably good they got out, because they would have had to follow all this, and I don't think Hank works
No.
doing that. So it ended at the right time.
Yeah.
And
I love that show.
that show holds up so good, and like most Mike Judge stuff, there's layers in there you didn't see the first time.
Agreed.
Wow.
Agreed. Mike Judge is, I think, another underrated genius.
For
Yeah.
sure. For sure.
Beavis and Butthead, King of the Hill.
Have you guys seen
Idiocracy.
Extract?
Extract. I went to the theater to see
Yeah,
that.
I don't
Did you?
think I got the thing of it.
I didn't even... because I've worked in that environment too. I think you have to work in that environment to be like, ha ha ha.
Yeah, maybe.
Just stuff. But just the main character, what's his name?
Jason Bateman?
Jason Bateman. His delivery when he gets fucking pissed about something, I love it.
Yeah.
He's just so stone-faced,
I
like,
Jason Bateman.
I want to kill you, but you can see it in his eyes.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
It's so great. Anyways,
Definitely. Well, we veered off a little bit.
we
there.
did, and
But I felt like I would be remiss if I didn't bring up Batman the Animated Series in terms of a TV show.
yeah,
In terms of
you,
pinnacle.
you got to. I hear you there.
You know what I mean?
And what is that? The 30s and 40s style theme and
that
look
was
to the
the
whole thing.
Batman, you were not because sometimes they had cell phones. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Batman, you're not supposed to know what time
When
period
it
it
is,
is
yeah,
because
yeah.
he could exist.
Because his technology was fantastic.
They do that same thing with Archer.
Yes.
You never
Yes.
you never know when
Correct.
when it is. Like his butler was in World War I,
Yeah.
but also there are cell phones sometimes.
yeah, and
Yeah.
clearly there's 1960s style computers.
And that's another show that we could go on for an hour about Archer.
Yeah.
But animation wise, I love Archer. Great show.
Okay, great.
So,
So I guess that covers it.
I think
All
that covers
television
it.
is
All
covered.
television.
All of it.
I'm just
right.
going to throw Dr. Katz on the pile.
You're
before we
welcome.
Love
Oh,
Dr.
great
Katz.
Did you know
show.
Audible there's new Dr. Katz's, but they're
I heard
just
that.
audio only.
Yeah.
It's genius. I don't know why they haven't been doing that ever
Yeah.
since the show was taken off the air.
What about Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law?
I never watched it.
So it's Hanna-Barbera cartoons.
Oh, I know what it is, unless you're explaining it to the audience.
No,
Well-
I'm not sure.
Well, if you haven't seen it, it's Harvey Birdman was once a superhero, and
Okay.
he's actually an old 1960s superhero show by
Right.
Hanna-Barbera, but he's retired as a superhero,
Right.
and now he's an attorney, and he's an attorney to old Hanna-Barbera characters. For instance, like Fred Flintstone
Yeah.
may or may not be a mob boss and needs a lawyer.
That's great.
Um,
That's fun and
You know,
creative.
there's like Speedy Gonzalez, like a race thing with him being
Yeah.
lazy.
Wow.
There's a thing. What was it? One of the cave people. Those people like that look like Cousin It's, but they were animated.
Yeah.
They were teaching evolution in schools.
Oh
and
my God.
And like my son came home crying. You know,
Oh my god.
because
What channel is this on?
Adult Swim. It's
Oh, okay.
yeah, and I found it on Hulu.
Okay,
all
I'll
three
look for
seasons.
it.
They're 10 minutes long. The episodes.
Oh, I'm looking for it then.
Yeah, Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law, and I mean it's hysterical. Oh,
Great.
it's Gary Cole and Stephen Colbert. The
Really?
voices. Yeah, it's Gary Cole and Stephen Colbert.
Gary Cole is so good.
Oh, he plays Harvey.
I just watched
Birdman.
this most recent season of Veep, and like he's my second favorite part of Veep.
I love
Really?
Gary Cole.
He's so good. And my favorite part of Veep is
He was so good on,
the guy. I can't remember his name, but the guy who plays
Arrested
Richard
Development.
Splett.
Richard Splett?
I take it you guys don't watch Veep.
No.
No, but I've heard only great things about it, so
Yeah.
I'm not gonna bash it. But
It's another.
things-
It's another like Sunny, where I can't just sit down and watch them all. Like it's really you're really gonna be sickened by
Right,
a lot of the
right.
people in it.
Yeah.
You're so affected by what you see.
But the pace of it is so quick.
yeah.
And the humor is like, if you're not listening to all the words, you are going to miss a lot
Yeah.
of jokes.
Makes sense.
It's really-
Okay, well, let's
Yeah.
I'll read an email or two. They are still coming in like crazy.
Read one email and then let's get
Read
to our
one
fuck
email?
yous.
Are these other people's emails? Is this just like you reading like
This is what people
penis
write into the
enlargement
show.
pills,
No, this is what people wrote into the show. We have a lot of fans.
and then you're like, penis enlargement pills?
So Slippery Susan at bitchface.net
That must be a new domain. Anyway.
writes, "Can I be a guest? Seriously, I've sent 4 gift baskets now." Have you received any gift baskets?
I haven't received a goddamn gift basket.
I've received a few, and I'm a little weirded out.
What were in the
Sorry,
gift
Susan,
baskets?
we can't do that. I'm just gonna read one more though for entertainment purposes.
Okay.
Jared,
I was so entertained by that first one.
I know.
well, I hope that she doesn't write again. Jared Ticklesticks98 at earthlink.com. Can Rockness please stop eating food on the mic? He must be listening to earlier episodes. Can Rockness please stop eating food on the mic? His disgusting chomping and slurping must stop. I swear if it happens 5.5 more times, I might stop listening. Okay, well,
Well,
thanks, Jared.
My response? I've got 5.5 more times.
Oh, wow. So that's, very specific frustration out of him.
Very specific. I think he needs psychiatric.
You are disgusting. You shouldn't eat things on the mic.
Your
but that's
mom
fine.
didn't think so.
Wow. Okay, I guess we'll just start right into our fuck yous and round it
I'm
out.
surprised you didn't do like a hi the 90s called and wanted their joke back.
Wasn't that was that Family Guy or something where they had like an infomercial like CD collection or something of best jokes from 80s sitcoms, and it was like featuring hits like "You Think" or
Oh, that's great.
Anyways,
All right, so let's get to our
fuck you.
yous.
You guys need to just hear me out, okay? Because
I do not.
as a carrier for mail,
I thought you were going to say disease.
and that too, I am tired of people walking up to me. So fuck you to anybody that literally walks up to me on the street. I don't have time for your bullshit. I'm not going to take your letter. Go put it in a blue box. Okay? No, I don't have your package. I don't know when it's coming. If you change your address, that's your problem. I'm not going to solve those issues for you. Go fuck yourself and stop bothering me, especially when I'm eating lunch. I'm clearly eating lunch. Go away. Okay, clearly I'm frustrated by those things. I'm sorry. That's just how I feel.
That is some mailman specific ire.
Yeah.
I have a fuck you.
Okay.
My fuck you is to the Postal Service.
Okay. Listening.
For not letting me walk up to them.
I see a postman. He's sitting there. He's in uniform.
Right.
All I want to do
I
is
hope
have
so.
my questions completely answered.
Yeah.
And I walk up to him, and he literally tells me to go fuck myself, that he's eating lunch.
Yeah.
And I have to go away.
Yeah.
But on a serious note, why does my mail not come till like 4 p.m.?
Okay. That's a fair question. A stupid question, but a fair one.
My packages are consistently late. I see that they say they're supposed to be here on this date, and they usually come the day after that.
Okay, there's two major reasons.
And what's with the uniform? What is? I mean, like I don't know.
Who are these people?
I don't know.
First of all,
The first two are real fuck yous.
the carrier has the ability to set up the route any way that they see fit.
So the carrier I have is lazy.
And if your particular mailbox is towards the end of the day, at the end of the route, then you're just going to be getting your mail at the end of the day. But you do not have special preference over every other person on that route to get your mail before anybody else.
See, my mom told me I'm special.
I know
From
that
a
you're
young
special in a
age.
different way. And a lot of times what we do is we'll set up the route so that businesses can get their mail first, because a lot of businesses do depend on us
Yeah.
in a more professional manner than you getting your fucking, I don't know, Star Wars toy.
Penis enlargement pills?
Okay, and the other thing is, obviously we can't deliver to everyone literally at once. So no matter what you do, someone's going to be getting their mail at the end of the day.
See, I
That's just
thought
the way it is.
I thought that it was some type of teleportation
No.
that is used.
Secondly, with the
'Cause those
packages
trucks look
thing,
funny.
He will be
When
replaced
you-
with a drone.
when you
eventually.
order something from Amazon or buttplugs.com, which I know that you frequent,
Buttplugs.com is one of my favorite
when
websites.
they give you
They're a
an
sponsor, too.
they give you an estimated delivery date. That's just an estimation. They can't account for whether or not they're even going to get it out of their own building in time. What you need to do is find the tracking number for the U.S. Postal Service,
Sure.
and then literally track that.
in their app.
Yes, or on their website. That will give you up to date, minute to minute. Okay, it's being processed here. It got to this station. It's going over here now. It's out with the carrier. You do not simply rely on what dickpills.com says.
Listen,
It's going to be there.
we all know I don't need penis enlargement pills. Let's not get into that right now. We don't need to. It's
Right.
inappropriate.
You already have some.
It's inappropriate.
If you were to walk into the station in the morning and see a sea of Amazon boxes and other packages that not only that we sort through and organize and take out on top of the mail that we have to sort and organize, you would absolutely be flabbergasted.
This is the thing. I think that every person should have their own personal mail person. Every single house is one mailman assigned to every house.
So we'd be done in 10 seconds then.
That's wow. That sounds efficient.
So 150 million people get to stay home.
Right.
The other half.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Dan, I'm
Conscripted.
here trying to solve problems, and it seems
Right.
like you're here just trying to create them.
Right.
Okay. So, Pete,
Peter, do you have a
do
fuck
you
you?
have a fuck
I was
you?
trying to think of something between when we started this segment and now. Normally, I'm walking around with many such things in my head, but unfortunately, we've been talking about TV for the last hour and whatever,
Yeah.
and I'm not presently in a state of mind. Oh, okay,
He's got one.
I got one.
Boom.
Boom. So, people have this thing about spoilers where they're just like, well, if you didn't want to be spoiled, you should have stayed under a rock and not listened to or watched whatever this is.
I'm feeling you.
And I'm just like, I mean, I know we already violated this earlier, but even if it's an old thing, You know what I mean? If it's passed into the zeitgeist, that's one thing. If it's just that kind of thing where like there's no way you haven't already heard us all spoil it for you.
So you're saying you disagree with the expiration date on which people say they can tell you a spoiler?
Yeah, but the point is more just the like newer stuff that like after a few months or something, go ahead and start spoiling it. Or just like, no. And there's like, well, yeah, but you would have gone out to see it immediately or whatever.
If you cared.
It's like, yeah, no, not necessarily.
Yeah.
I mean,
like if I said the Dumbledore dies, that to you, that's like, no.
yeah,
Why would you say that?
Thankfully, one, I've already read all those books. Two, I think they're terrible, so go ahead and spoil them.
Well, I don't know if
Ooh,
you guys
can
do
that be
this.
it? YA and everyone's obsession with it. I loathe the way that everyone thinks that young adult fiction is perfectly fine for adults to read.
Right.
You know what? It is. If it's one thing you read and then you also read a bunch of adult things.
Right.
But if you're using it as this excuse to continue your own infantilization where you're just like, well, I don't need to read other things. This is perfectly acceptable literature.
Wow.
It's not. It's written for people that are objectively dumber than you.
So the Sorcerer's Stone and a,
But are
and a
they?
Playboy.
But are they?
What'd you say?
So the Sorcerer's Stone and a Playboy.
And a
You said
Where's
adult,
Waldo?
And a Where's Waldo? I mean, I thought adult. Are we just? Is not?
Not. I
is
don't think you meant that kind of adult.
Playboy isn't considered adult literature.
No, it's not literature in any
Do you know?
sort of way.
Did you guys know that they went
I'm
went
just
to no
confused then.
nudity and then went back?
Right back to it. They're like, it'll be hotter. Trust us.
I don't
No,
Like,
they were saying, nobody's buying it, so
Yeah.
why don't we market to, younger people who are
Oh, right,
or
right,
whatever.
right.
You can take it
Yeah.
out of the back of the, thing or whatever.
Yeah.
And then, they forgot that those people have access to the internet too.
right.
I used to. I
It's
used to
just the
actually read
medium
Playboy.
that people don't want anymore.
Yeah.
So anyway, so your fuck you is to the spoiler expiration. Now, what about like if I was like, hey, guess what? Darth Vader, Luke's dad. Like, would that?
Well, but that's
be-
what I'm saying is that's kind of in the zeitgeist. People are constantly misquoting it with Luke, I am your
Yeah,
father.
it's just,
or whatever.
I am your father.
But it's one of those things that's so out there that if you never saw the thing,
Yeah.
you're going to. We've ruined it. Is my point.
Yeah.
And once that happens, once it becomes a thing you refer to explain something else or whatever,
Yeah. If it's part of a joke or in other movies at this point, I mean.
yeah, then okay, we've done what we can. But like, I don't know. I just like there's a lot of times I'm listening to like, okay, for instance, and they don't all do this, mind you, but in podcasts, there will be a new movie or something. Somebody involved in that will be on the show. The host and them will start talking. And then they start talking about what happens in the movie. Like,
Yeah.
specifically, not just the trailery kind of version or whatever.
Right.
And I start going, so I'm only supposed to listen to what is essentially an advertisement for this movie if I've already seen the movie? That's stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, like give me some like what was this guy like working with, or what did you guys play pranks on each other and backstage?
Yeah, well, or just like, I mean, and again, some people do this, but, build up how the movie sounds. Tell me about it, but tell me in the kind of like, yeah, so then that's kind of the first, 20 minutes or whatever. That's sort of where it goes. And then fun, and then I'll go, oh, okay, nice person on the internet, I will go see your movie. But sometimes, I mean, okay, recently there was one about, you guys know Kumail Nanjiani and Emily
Yes,
Gordon,
The Big Sick.
There was an episode where they were talking about that, and the host said, "We are going to be talking about this movie in detail, so if you haven't seen it, it's all spoilers."
Yeah.
And I was just like,
was that the Nerdist?
"No, that's called Pop Rocket.
Okay, Pop Rocket.
That's all I'm asking for."
Yeah, that's fine, right? Yeah.
And I'm not actually going after Marin here, but oftentimes you'll get
do
halfway through and it'll have been fine, and then he'll just go, yeah, and you know that part where you did the thing, and they find out, and he'll just toss it in. I mean, he's great. I'm not actually mad at him. I've just learned not to listen if I
Yeah.
you know, because
this is on.
at
Don't-
least
don't
just
listen to
once,
him.
just once he'll just not think, I guess, and just
right.
go, you know,
Cool.
yeah.
Well, thanks for being
on.
here, Peter.
Definitely. Well, let's to recap real quick. So your fuck you was
People walking up to me.
Pete's fuck you.
I had
was
2 of them.
Spoilers and kind of like when is it okay?
To stop reading fucking child
Stop
fiction. or
stop
teen
reading
fiction.
child.
Yes, if you're an
fiction.
adult,
Yeah.
you're not a young adult.
And my fuck you was as flaccid as any policy the Trump administration has tried to put forth. I had to get one today.
I know you
All
did.
right, so yes, Pete, thank you.
Watch TV, everybody.
You've been
Watch TV and watch stand up and shut the fuck up.
Yeah, and I mean you've been a treasure trove.
Stay
of knowledge.
indoors.
Yeah.
You've been a treasure trove of knowledge when it comes to this kind of stuff. So really
you say
appreciate
so.
having you on. I think so, Dan.
I don't even know who he is and how he got in here.
Oh, I thought you knew him.
Certainly,
No, I thought you knew him.
I have
certainly
no idea who
haven't
this
known
guy
each
is.
other since we were 11.
So with that being said, I want to thank you. I want to thank our sponsors who haven't paid us yet.
Yep.
I want to thank our fans, all 3 to 4 of you.
Yep.
And if you
Higher number than I thought.
if you like what you hear, please give us some likes, comment on the show, and share.
Yeah.
Sharing is caring.
Share it, goddammit.
Sharing is caring. Dan, anything?
Nothing else.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, everyone, and we'll talk to you next time. In the meantime, please don't kill each other.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.